Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be learning how to sew this very gorgeous circle dress. Okay, it's a very free dress and it's something you can do for yourself in a few minutes. Okay, it's more or less a summer dress, just a free dress you can wear during hot weather. So here I'm going to fold my fabric and I folded it into two. By the way, you'll be needing about 3 yards of fabric. Okay, so I folded my fabric like this into two like this. Okay, then I'm going to fold it over again. You see that place I'm holding. Okay, you're going to just hold that apex, that point like this, and then you're going to fold it over like this, like a triangular form or a bias form. So it has this triangular shape or a bias shape. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. I'm going to place this on my table, and this is the illustration of what we are going to do. Okay, because I want mine to have some ruffles at the hem, so this is what I'm going to calculate. Okay, this is my full length is going to be 40 inches. Okay, but I want the length of my ruffles to be 7, so you minus 7 plus 40, you have 33. So the length of my gown is going to be 33. That is without the ruffles. Okay, so I'm going to just add 2 inches to that 33. Okay, and I'm going to take that will be the length of my dress. But first we are going to get our bust circumference. So you get your bust circumference, you divide it by 4, and then I added 1.5 inch seam allowance, and I'm going to place my tape on where my measurement falls. Okay, so where I have my measurement. Okay, that's my bust measurement plus um that's a quarter of my bust measurement plus 1.5 is allowance. Okay, so I got the measurement or where it falls on my fabric, and then I drilled a line. And you have to be sure that what you have on this side I'm measuring and what you have on this side is the same. So I had about 17.5 on both sides. Okay, so you know that you're correct or you're doing the right thing. So I'm going to take my armhole measurement. So I'm going to do an armhole of 9 inches, because this person, the bust I'm working with, is a big bust. But if you're working with a small bust, let's say 30 to 34 inches, you can do an armhole of 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to do an armhole of 9 inches, and I place my 9 inches on my bust line. Okay, so I'm going to come down by 5 inches from the top of my tape. Okay, it's going to be a strapless top. So normally if you're doing an off shoulder, you're going to come down by either 4 or 5. So I came down by 4 inches. You can actually come down by 4 inches if you're working with a smaller size. So I came down by 4 inches and I ruled my line like so. Okay, so I'm going to measure my shoulder on that line that we ruled. Okay, so the shoulder measurement for this person is 15 inches, which is 7.5 divided by 2. So I removed 1.5 inches from my shoulder and I marked what I have. This is because you don't want your strap to be falling off your shoulder. Okay, you want it to go in a bit. Okay, so I connected that line to my bust line. That is to mark my armhole curve. Okay, so on my neckline I'm going to take a depth of 1 inch, because I want it to have like a slight curve. But if you want, you can leave it straight like this. If you want, you can do a v-neck, but I marked 1 inch there, and I'm going to curve it a little bit like this, just for it to have this slight curve for my neck area. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark my full length. Okay, remember we already minused the length of the ruffle, so I'm only marking my length from my shoulder to where my ruffle is going to start, and I'm going to add 2 inches to it. So I place my tape like this on my bust line. Remember, you place your 9 inches, that is what you removed for your armhole. Okay, and then you're going to mark your full your length, the length of the dress plus 2 inches seam allowance. Okay, so I had 33 and I added 2, and I was going to mark 35. So you're going to mark, I'm going to mark 35 all the way like this. So as you're marking, you're shifting your tape, make sure you maintain that 9 inches for your armhole that is supposed to be on your bust line. Mark it from there and take your length measurements all the way round like I'm doing. So you just connect it as you mark. Please guys, just take this time to hit the like button if you enjoy my videos, or if you're watching me for the first time, kindly hit the like button if you find this video helpful. So I was done. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to cut it off. Just cut it out. Remember, this is on fold. We are cutting the front and the back piece together. Okay, so we have 4 pieces on fold. Okay, so I'll cut the neckline. Then I'll cut my armhole. So remember, this side is actually on fold, so I'm just going to cut it open, the side that is on fold. Okay, I'm going to cut it open. So but first I'm going to come on this end and I'll mark 1.5 inches up. Okay, and I'm going to connect it like this. This is so you don't have any funny look, okay, when you join the ruffles. Okay, so that it's just going to look nice and not pointed at the sides of your dress. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that place open. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces, that is my front and my back piece. Okay, so now we're done with the cutting and it's time to sew. Okay, so what I will do first is to measure my hem. It's still folded into 4, so to get the length of the ruffle I want to attach, remember I'm attaching a ruffle, but if you're not attaching a ruffle you can just neglect this. Okay, so I'm going to measure the round of my hem. Okay, and what I get, I'm going to multiply it by 4 because it's folded into 4. That's, I have 4 pieces on fold. Okay, and the value I get, I'm going to times it by 2. Okay, to get a long strip of fabric to attach, that is to pleat. So here I'm going to, because the length of my ruffle is going to be 7. Okay, I added 2 inches to it and I'm measuring 9 right now. So I'm measuring 9 inches for my ruffle. Okay, so I'm going to cut a long strip of the value I got after multiplying the hem of my dress by 2. Okay, I'm going to just get a long strip. Okay, here I was just trying to get a very long strip. You can join as much as you want. Okay, just to get that value that you want to attach. So now I'm going to use a bias tape to bind the neckline. Okay, bind it inside. Then for the armhole, I'm going to pipe the armhole with a piece of my fabric, and I also want the bias tape I will use for my armhole to be my strap. Okay, so it's going to extend to serve as my strap. Okay, remember we removed 5 inches. Okay, so that 5 inches length is going to be the length of our strap. Okay, so I'm going to measure my round armhole like this. Take note of the 5 inches that we removed. That's where I started from, and I have 13 inches. Okay, so I cut a long strip of 13 inches. Okay, and by width it is 1.5 inch by width. So the width depends on how thick or how tiny you want your strap to be. Okay, so I'm going to use it and pipe my armhole, and then I'm going to extend it to serve as my strap as well. So I'm going to make 5 inches allowance for the front of my strap and for the back also, and then I'll continue piping. So the length of your strap is supposed to be 10 inches. Okay, so 5 inches for the front and 5 inches for the back. Please take note of this. Okay, so I'm just going to pipe like this. I'm going to turn pipe on the back. Okay, so I'm going to place my bias tape front facing the back of my dress, and I'm going to sew it with 1/4 inch. Okay, and when I get to this side, when I get to this area, okay, I'm going to make space for my 5 inches, remember. Then I'm going to fold it over to the front like I am doing. Okay, and sew in 1/2 inch. Okay, just sew it in. Okay, and when you get to this side, remember you have to make space for your strap. Okay, so I've done binding my neckline with a bias tape. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is, I've already sewed the 1/4 inch on my armhole. That's the back of my armhole. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it over like this. Okay, you fold it over and then to your front, and then you're going to sew it at the edge. Okay, you sew it at the edge like this. Okay, so when you get to this side, that is for your strap, you're going to have something like this. Fold it over on each end and then sew on top of it for your strap. Okay, so I was done sewing everything, my binding my armhole and then my strap. Okay, so the next thing I want to do now is to join my size. You remember we added 1.5 inches seam allowance, so I'm going to join my size, that is match my armhole area, and then join it with 1.5 inch seam allowance down to the hem. Okay, so I'm going to do that on my machine now. So I was done doing that. I was joining the seam allowance. The next I want to do now is to attach my ruffle. So here's my ruffle. I've already joined the long strip of material to measure the length that I got. Okay, here is the long strip of fabric that I have, and then I also went ahead to fold the ends by 1.5 inches, and then this area I folded it by 1/4 inch, that is twice. Okay, then I'm going to sew it on top. I want my pleat to be on top of my dress. If you want it beneath, it's fine, but I want it on top. That was why I folded it by 1/2 inch, that is 1/4 inch twice. Okay, because I want it to be on top. I want the pleat to be on top. So this is how the pleat is going to be. Okay, I'm just going to pleat it very lightly. Okay, because it's already a circle dress, I don't want it to be so full, so it's going to be so pleated so sparingly like this. That is 1 inch above my hem is where I'm going to pleat it. Okay, so if you want, you can interlock this edge before pleating, or you can do that after pleating, or you can also interlock this edge you're going to pleat on your skirt, or sew it like I did. Okay, so I was done, and here is what I have. It's so easy and it's quite simple and beautiful. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave your comments. I'd love to read from you. Thank you for watching. Bye.